Hello, people of the internet. It's your boy Skinny Penis with another replay from Libertard, the last one most likely I cover here. That's this so-called or the so-called final verdict video on Libertard, third time's the charm. Had a great first one video where I just pushed into the enemy spawn. A second one where I had over 400k in 10 minutes and arms race. And this game is also going to be quite the spastic one because I will play into a flank with a submarine and 2 gearings, and I will basically eat not a single peat from a gearing. I think 2 or so from the sub because of land to sea. Kind of, and me getting stuck and he's guiding the torps into me, which isn't an issue, but like dancing between a million torpedoes and killing off destroyers, submarines, and even a smoke comp in the enemy team, staying alive and then running in the enemy spawn anyways and killing BBs. This game basically also shows how brain damagedly spastic the maneuverability is and in what way it helps you out greatly. Which is throwing off torpedoes or straight up dodging torpedoes. Doesn't matter if it's sub or gearing peats or DD peats. And yeah, and the fast heal with the long DCP basically keeping you alive, and then you can just run at the enemy again. There's obviously a division gameplay, though this is not going to be like a, let's say, push or like the daring is not gonna, or scuba is not gonna zone a lot for me here. And neither is Landair going to push directly with me. I'm going to be up front and just going a WASD autism, and no one hits me with a peat, and therefore I live. But yeah, final verdict. Well, I guess they need to nerf it heavily. I do not understand how this even made it live. I said it multiple times. The damage output is crazy, and you could also see it in King of the Sea now. They allowed Libertard, even though it was just released, they allowed it in internationals, which was a good idea. Was actually smart because first of all, it's really good against Russian cruisers on islands. So you can, it's the only BB that effectively kills them in a 1v1 faster than it dies itself. So you always need to be ready. You can't really camp that much anymore or be alone as a rock wanking Russian cruiser. But on the other side, Libertard is so crazy busted in competitive, in my opinion, because of the idea that you don't really have to be lit or shoot, so therefore the enemy doesn't get to poke you at range before you push, or you don't even know where the Libertard is gonna send it sometimes. And then if you don't bring your own Libertard to stop the enemy Libertard, what do? What the fuck do you do? There's some cruisers like Salem that can stop it quite well and trade quite easily or effectively into it, but that's like the only cruiser. There's very few other cruisers that can deal a lot or do a lot against Libertard. It's marvelously obnoxious even in competitive. And you could see it, like lots of teams ran at least one, some 2 Libertards, or we were also some, or a team that ran 2 or like to run 2. Like teams were already banning it. Like the thing is out and people immediately play or ban it in competitive. If that happens with a boat, it's quite bad. I mean, it's similar, by the way, with Svea, though you don't really need to ban it because you can just run something with bigger, larger radar duration against it, or maybe a Napo or a Marseille that can either push it, or I mean, Marseille can't really, but like Napo can maybe push it or tank it at least. Something. Like you don't really need, or it doesn't really make sense to ban the Svea because there's other alternatives anyways. But like Libertard is just obnoxious. So like the way it played out in trainings as well as in the beginning of the trainings, a lot of teams that we had trained, especially like Asia, apparently the patch didn't hit for them. The games were disgustingly one-sided because they didn't play Libertard. We started with 1 and then we just switched to 2 and then we just waited. With 1 Libertard played something that we needed to defend, for example, where we had to have it on a flank because we didn't know if they push or not. And then you have a checkmate there because like if they push, the Libertard kites you. If they don't have a Libertard and they don't push, your Libertard just pushes counter and kills them anyways. Similar, by the way, with like the second Libertard that most likely just took over a rotational BB or reactive BB role. It was also like kind of a checkmate situation because since the enemy didn't know where it is, they could not really push a flank anyways. They go for a heavy base push, the thing can rotate there and fuck the base push up with the other Libertard. Or it can choose to push the light flank because they have a heavy base push. It's you basically wait, you see what's there, and then you pick your best best option there. Similar for like defense, like if you play a flank weak and you have that one Libertard that is reactive, you can just push into the or you can just help your weak flank and kite, and your other Libertard on base can push. You have too much options with it, and you set too many lineups, too many ship combinations, too many deployments into a checkmate if the enemy team isn't like mega cracked at analyzing like what's going on early. But then again, you can never know where the second Libertard, for example, goes. As you can see here, both submarines dead. The one in the cap was never lit. Oh, actually, the one in the cap is still alive, I think. That one I will blind drop later on. The one other sub inted. It was a double sub div on that side, actually. So I played into 2 gearings, 2 subs, and I haven't eaten the torp really. I think I only ate 2 torps from the sub or something. Did I even eat a torp from the sub? Don't remember. I'm going to kill the second sub fully blind in the cap the entire time, like he was never lit. We obviously crushed the smoke, because they're incapable of playing it. And I killed both gearings. I killed 2 gearings with my BB. I killed 2 subs, or I will kill both subs with my BB. And I'm not even eating torps in the process. And then I just dive an island, and like there's 4 BBs now, and you will be surprised, but I will be able to, or I will stay alive until the end of the game, and the enemy BBs will all be dead. Yeah, that is Libertard for you. There you go, blind hit. Look at the damage. Look at the damage my secondaries dealt to that man. It's just fucking retarded. It is retarded. Penning the BBs everywhere, wherever the secondaries hit, with that fire chance. Like, I don't fucking know, man. Like, I really don't know how they made that thing happen. I'm even greeding here. Like, technically I could just sit on this island now and heal and then wait a bit for the cooldowns. But like, I see the flat broadside Yamato, I just need to fucking kill him. I need to, man. It's important for me. Like, you see the flat Yamato, you have to go. Look, you have to. It's just, by law, you have to citadel that. But yeah, we just continue pushing. Only reason this is also possible, and to that degree, is because the heal comes off cooldown 20 seconds faster than a normal BB heal. And yeah, DCP obviously also lasts extremely long, so... yeah, well, we're just pushing into a bunch of BBs now, after we fuck destroyers and shit. Obviously maneuverability here, you can just slow down, turn in a bit, the Östergötland torps miss, then you can turn out again, because why not? Honestly, just like, why not? DCP lasting for 20 seconds, so I can basically DCP until this Karl Johann is most likely dead. The turn I can make here is also obscene. I don't know, I think I just actually nearly one-shot him here when he turns up for torpedo. Look at the turning, man. I'm actually getting behind that island. This is absolute Ligma boat. Ligma, Enigma. Like, this is not supposed to be a thing. I played a lot of cruisers lately again, like also like old cruisers, maybe for example Touch the Wooster or so. It's crazy. It's crazy. You play cruisers and they are fucking... You have no maneuverability on the cruisers compared to this thing. It's insane. How does it happen? How does that happen? And then also like the main gun volleys I get out of this thing, right? It's not like my main guns are super inaccurate. No, you deal a lot of damage with your main guns most of the times, because you do have 12 guns with very high penetration and decent dispersion. I mean, it's not crazy dispersion like in Wisconsin, but it's decent enough to hit flat broadside BBs at mid-ranges where you brawl. You will land most of your shells and you will get 20 to 30k volleys even. Same as you will delete cruisers or completely cripple them. This guy, by the way, should have kept shooting, but he didn't, so like, I don't know. I mean, I guess he could have traded me only with an 18k volley, because otherwise I kill him before he dies. Instead, he just smokes and tries to heal, but the problem is my heal, obviously, reloads faster, so I will be most likely even able to heal earlier than he does. But look, 3 guns on this guy. I think I kill him here, by the way. Yeah. Yeah. Very cool. 3 guns, 6 shells, 5 hit. Is it good? Or is it good? Like, I don't know. Like, don't necessarily understand the design principles here. So like, okay, we go into a flank, we have 2 subs, 2 DDs to deal with, a smoke that could farm you. You tap dance around like a dumb motherfucker. Here, 18k'd him with main guns. Funny. You tap dance around like a motherfucker between 50 torpedoes. You kill the 2 torp DDs, you kill the 2 submarines. You go to a rock, you press your heal, you immediately run it into 4 or 3 BBs that could shoot you. You kill the BBs, you're still alive. You randomly shoot once as flat Azuma, kill him too. Thoughts? Like, I mean, I don't know what to say here. The ship is just, it's wicked. I don't even have the fancy commander. I have 307 secondary hits and 70 main gun hits. So like my commander procced like ages ago. It procs at 175 main gun secondary hits combined. That commander would have procced ages ago and would have given me additional 22.5 secondary reload reduction and 5% I think on guns. Or like, no, it doesn't give gun reload. I think that's the... Oh, does it? I think it does even give gun reload, yeah. Like 5% or something. So, yeah, didn't even proc the commander because I don't have it. And they still just like, on NA, I don't have the commander, and it's turbo obvious. It was obvious from the get-go that the ship is just gonna murder people without the commander anyways, because the commander procs decently late. Like, you have to basically kill 2 ships already, or 2 BBs to get those secondary hits, because 175k secondary or main gun hits on this boat are a lot of alpha. That is a lot of fucking alpha, because you just penetrate everything. So yeah, even without the commander, just a cheesy little piece of shit boat, I guess. Yeah, so immediate impact in comp. It will most likely also be a very, very reliable pick for CBs. Maybe not in the super ship CB season. It could be pretty sus there, because super ships, I mean, they are something you have to deal with, right? But and you can take a super BB yourself, maybe. But yeah, it's... I don't think it's too far to say that this ship wasn't tested and that the testers are a gaslight operation, or the testing itself. Because what kind of BB is this? I don't understand it. So like 3.5 base. My boy Landusi is second. Also got a bunch of damage I got, and 2 kills. Did some stuff. Kraken, whatever the fuck. As you can see here, 16k on gearing. That is the blind sub in the cap. That's the sub that surfaced. So obviously lots of people dropped him, but that was only blind. BB's dead. Actually, this should be 36k. That guy. So this is a problem, right? By the way, you cannot be stationary in front of it. Nose in specifically, you just can't. If you go stationary and you can't move your ship anymore, the problem becomes that the secondaries hit you too reliable. One thing to note though on Libertard is that very, very close range, like 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers and below, like in the mouth of an enemy BB, or also like 2 kilometers close drive-by and shit, your secondaries suddenly don't really deal damage anymore, or not at all, because they aim for main armorable sections, which they don't penetrate. So like the best ranges to engage with secondaries is like between 6 and 10. Best range is probably between 7 and 8. Against the stationary target, because your shells, basically all of the secondary shells hit, but they do still spread on the ship, so they hit multiple sections for fires and unsaturated sections, so you get more alpha strike. And when they're stationary and therefore don't really move, you immediately and all the time hit the secondary. So then the DPM becomes toxically obnoxious. If people kite and move around a lot in maneuverable ships and stuff, even BBs dodging left, right, or like basically turning the rudder just a bit, you do miss a lot, unless they straight line. If they straight line, you also hit a lot of secondaries. But yeah, stationary targets are just cooked. So this guy was stationary, and in seconds he took 36k secondary damage. So there was like 2 volleys I shot on him, and in the same time a secondary still like double the damage, more than double the damage, plus the fires. And he also died so fast to the alpha that my fires that I got, the perma fires, didn't even tick. That's like crazy on this boat anyways. As you can see here, for example, the Karl Johann is a very well armored BB, and I was really close to him, so my secondaries, even though I get 93 secondary shell hits, they don't really deal damage, because I was 4 kilometers or something close to him, which means they hit main armorable sections and they don't penetrate a lot. If I would have been 6, 7 or more kilometers away from him, they would have lobbed onto superstructures, spread on nose, ass, midsection, or also hit the deck, and I would have murdered him with the secondaries. Like, Schlieffen kind of also is fine being close, because then you can just use torpedoes in a drive-by and do funny things. Libertard kind of wants to stay mid-range. It's not mid-range, but like 6 to 10 kilometers. It doesn't want to be inside an enemy ship's face. Also, the other gearing did a lot of damage too. And then, like, yeah, the obvious, like, you have main gun damage, you have secondary damage. Fascinating boat. Fascinating boat. I can only say that. Fascinating boat. Yeah, final verdict on the boat. It needs to be nerfed. It has to be nerfed. Like, something has to change. I don't really dislike it in comp. It's nice that there's a brawl or a secondary BB, a push BB that is that effective. Problem just becomes it's too effective, I guess. So like you have to have your own Libertard to kite it out. Other BBs can get run down. I feel like the only BB that can receive it reliably is a Conqueror, because the HE from Conk with the fires is just the most reliable source of dealing damage to it. Colombo gets troll volleys. It can angle in against Colombo. Bungo, same thing. And Conqueror has a super heal. So like you can kind of stand your ground a bit and run away, and the super heal gives you enough time to maybe create distance, because the Libertard can't chase infinitely into you, because it most likely will eat orbs, has to care for crossfire, whatever. Like Conqueror seems to be like the best option, maybe even the only option to kite it. But then again, Conqueror is really ineffective against most other ships that are seen in comp. So like, I don't know, it's probably way too effective even in comp. So they would have to nerf it. But I think if they do proper adjustments on the damage output from the secondaries, or also change the guns maybe, like reduce the dispersion, no, not reduce, basically nerf the dispersion so it's even worse, then it could become a very interesting brawl ship. I mean, I know that it has to stay strong in terms of armor, heal, secondaries, because that's the point of it. But why does it get that much maneuverability, or why does it get that much effective of a gun setup, basically? Or like, why are the guns so effective is my question. So like, yeah, there have to be adjustments. I don't think they should cuck it completely into the ground. But yeah, maybe, I don't know what they will do. But they have to do something. Anyways, that's it for Libertard. Guess we have seen it enough by this point, and well, I will cover the other new ships in the next videos that I haven't covered for a few months now, and go through them. And well, see you soon. Hope you enjoyed it. Adios.